Hi everyone, it's Jane. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, got into day 8 of our challenge, and I know that this is pretty late, but this will be gotta be honest, guys, a pretty busy day for me. So I struggled to find the time and to have some quiet time to get everything ready. So this is really the only time that I had available today. But hope you're feeling well. Hope you're doing good. I'd love to hear how you're getting on for a challenge so far. I wanted to have a wee go of going over the bits that we did for day 7, which is going over a great cover checklist, which I have got. Yeah. So let's have a little look over what our homework was for yesterday. Have a quick scan over our song checklist. I was having a chat yesterday. Some people kind of, when I was talking about toxic thoughts and things that can sometimes affect your mindset and your ability to improve. Some of it can be quite frustrating, and I can appreciate that. But being more aware of it can really help a lot. So as a way of kind of going through this for your cover checklist, remember you've got the character question list first of all. I would highly recommend that you start there, so you're helping, like, thinking more of like inside the song rather than feeling like you're somebody outside of it or something. They were thinking about what's the shape of the song. Is it like building up like tension and release and stuff, and like are you building up momentum in places, whether that's like coming from the first verse maybe, and building up momentum up into the chorus, and then it could probably like the chorus going back to the next verse. It could be the momentum slowly kind of ebbs away gradually, and then it's kind of going across in little waves and stuff, or it could be building up and then it suddenly just kind of crashes back down to zero all of a sudden. Then the more that you do this and the more that you look at songs, you'll get a better kind of feeling of what is happening. Let me see if I can move this forward a wee bit, because I wonder if we can get some more light with the camera. Does that help a bit? Maybe a little bit, I don't know. There, I want to look at something that I kind of went into things a while to describe it, a word painting. I was talking about, you want to, it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. And you're trying to make the words sound a bit more descriptive when you sing them. So that could be that you're talking about, example I said was Adele and the warm embrace, and the word sounding warm when you're going onto it. And you might have a couple of ideas. The one that I said directly relevant for the Flow My Faith song was lullaby. You need to think about what kind of effect you want to achieve if you're the character in the song. So I'm being careful not to give you too many suggestions, because I really want you to think for yourself with these things. But what I would say for that word lullaby, to give you an idea, is like, to me, it should feel soothing like a lullaby, though I appreciate in this instance you're not talking to like a baby, try to lull them to sleep, but it's that feeling of being safe or reassured or protected somehow. You get the idea. So I'd like to think about maybe a couple of words that maybe be in the lullaby song that you think might be really good for word painting. They might just be that word lullaby. That's fine. You just want to stick to that. That's absolutely fine. If you find another word, or maybe 2 words, then that's great. But please don't force it. It should feel like when you come across a word and you're thinking about it in the lyric sheets, that it helps spark an idea in you, and that one makes you think, oh, it spurs you on to think, I'm going to play around a little bit with the whole word painting idea, and that's where it comes from, you see. So you should be inspired, and please don't try to force it. It should come quite organically, maybe it won't happen with the first song that you look at, because I think the things with word painting, that sometimes it can take a little bit of a while to kind of get the hang of what it's really all about, and maybe hear a couple of good examples of it, and then you kind of get it, and then maybe you start with the word lullaby, then you experiment with it a little bit, and then you kind of get a little bit more when you put it into your own practice of performing the song. you understand a little bit more about what I'm on about. Sometimes you can only really get it when you've actually sung the song a couple times and you go, I get it, okay, you know. So it could be takes a little while, but that's totally normal, nothing to worry about, okay. So the other thing I was saying as well was to help improve your empathy. This is more for people that maybe they haven't done an awful lot of performing. Maybe like music can be quite new to you. Like you might like enjoying listening to music and stuff, but maybe the actual performance side of it is pretty new to you. So you know, you might find it relatively easy to empathize with people. Like say if you like football or something, you can empathize really easily with athletes that are doing a good job or maybe doing a bad job, or you know, you can imagine what it, quite easily like what it feels like for them, you know. But maybe when you think about what a character would experience in a song, that might be quite difficult for you. So what I would say, if you're trying to, well, first of all, try and draw on your own experience, but if you find it difficult still, I think you should maybe ask friends and family and ask if they've been in the same situation or they know of somebody that's been in a similar situation. Ask them to describe it as best they can, and that can really help a lot. Take a notepad with you so you can scribble down all these wee bits and stuff, you know. So the other thing I want you to have a think of is how you're going to record yourself. First of all, just for your own reference, to listen back, and then you know, make sure that you always give yourself credit for the good things that you're doing, and then be very specific and constructive about the things that you want to improve on. Then maybe when you've done that a couple of times, you want to do a recording to upload onto our group, and I'll look at every single recording, guys, and you know, I'll maybe send you a little message and stuff to ask if you want some feedback or not, and you know, that's totally fine by me. Then I wanted to ask as well on the checklist, like something that I mentioned before, thinking about what barriers that you might be experiencing through your mindset, whatever those might be. And the more and more that you become aware of this and whether or not these kind of thoughts like can hinder you, and if they come into your thinking when you're going to get ready to perform, or if you're actually in the middle of performing, you know, in the act of singing, sometimes these little things like it can be difficult sometimes for your brain to switch off, and it kind of happens in the background somewhere, the cogs are turning and all that kind of thing. You maybe get some kind of like thought of, oh, I'll never be able to do this, or it'll never work, and all that kind of thing. Please let me know if you have any specific thoughts that you are aware of that come into your thinking when you're trying to get ready for singing. Then I want to get going today, and that's to look at the new song, was the Janelle Monáe song, The Way You Make Me Feel. So I'll be honest, guys, I haven't had really much time today to with to and fro and visiting people and all that kind of thing. It's actually been a challenge for me. This is a challenge for me as a teacher to fit in doing this around other commitments that I have throughout the day. And it's been really good, actually. I've liked having these kind of online chats, and it's good that it's flexible. And that's why things are a bit late tonight. So when you're looking at Way You Make Me Feel, just have a go. Like, we're going through the exact same process. So say for instance what I recommended in day one, and I took it really slowly for the people that are still getting used to things. Yeah. Oh, you might hear the wind blowing a little bit. It's really windy here. So the first bit was like buzzing and breathing. So we got our Spotify playlist. It's all sitting there waiting for you with the Janelle Monáe song on it. Doing that buzzing thing with the melody, and just where's the chorus bit? Just going through it a little bit at a time, you know. And you know, I said first kind of day was buzz and breathe. So you're getting used to the places where you want to breathe. You're going to buzz in the melody. You might kind of massage your jaw a little bit again. Now, this is for me, this is my problem area. I always have to be very mindful about what my jaw is doing, making sure it doesn't ever lock in place or anything like that, you know. But I remember, I've got my sheet music here for the Janelle Monáe song. There's a couple of bits that we have to be careful of. So guys, on the Google Drive, I printed it in a little lyric sheet for make you the way you make me feel. I want to say the longer title rather than just make me feel. And that's kind of formatted the way that like to show you where you should really be breathing. So think of like the end of a line. Let's zoom in a little bit. The end of a line kind of here, where's my finger? Should be kind of where you're breathing. Do you see what I mean? So it should follow quite easily, like shows you where you should breathe and all that kind of thing. But please let me know if you're finding any of it difficult or anything like that, or if you're not sure. So with that in mind, when you're looking at a lyric sheet and you're maybe just buzzing along, and I want to look at particular bits in the song where it has chromatic passages. So I'm going to look at the sheet music here. See the very, very first phrase? It goes, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. It's that little tiny bit, and it repeats quite a few times. It's a da-da. You might actually find that quite difficult because that's a semitone difference between the notes. If you're thinking of like a piano, that's the smallest interval that you have on a piano, like the distance between two white notes that are really close together, or the distance between a white note and its closest black note that is a little bit above it. So that bit might be tricky, so you might want to practice that a little bit, like kind of slower. And what I'll do tomorrow, I won't be able to do it tonight, it'll probably be tomorrow in the morning and stuff. I'm going to go and do an MP3 for you, but practicing that little bit, just for those words of doing it slowly. Baby, don't make me spell it out for you. And it's the for you need to watch out for. Next bit, same kind of thing with a chromatic passage. All of the feelings that I've got for you. For some reason, when I'm learning chromatic things, I always want to feel like I'm prodding it. Like, you're not going to escape me, I'm going to get you, you know, like nailing it down by being really exact, yeah. Then I turn the page for the next bit. Can't be explained, but I can. Oh, I forgot it goes up higher. Can't be explained, but I can try for you. Then it goes back down. Yeah, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. Yeah, it goes back down to that. Nah, nah. And that happens a lot in this bit. It's like repeating all the time. You keep on asking me the same questions. Oh, Charlie's not joined us. Hi, Charlie. How are you doing? And then we go to the and second guessing all my intentions. So when you're doing this bit, obviously like hum along with the melody, but maybe slide between those two notes. If you're doing that bit, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. Baby, don't make me spell it out for you. Do it a bit slower, but slide between those two last notes. And if I sing to you, so you can hear it a bit more. Very, very slight slide going. It's like a souffle, like deflating or something. It's really subtle, but sometimes you need a little practice, especially the chromatic notes, because they're so close together. You might just need to take a little bit of time over that. And then there's another bit later on where it happens again. But when it goes up higher, thankfully with this one, I'm not so worried about this one in terms of people going up high, because it doesn't go up as high as the Paloma Faith song, and it doesn't go as low. So maybe if there's bits in the lullaby song you were struggling with, you probably find this a bit easier in places. So say for the other bit, it's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender. It's a na 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 na. That's another little chromatic bit, and I'll do another little kind of MP3 thing to go over that, because I know it's a bit hard to explain in the way of looking at the lines in isolation. But I want you to think about these little passages. When I've been listening to it, these are the ones that really kind of stuck out for me as being difficult, that things that deserve for it to go low and slow, and then we kind of build up. I think with this bit specifically, probably won't modulate it down, I don't think, because it's kind of low-ish anyway. But we'll just slow it down so we can be totally exact about what we're doing. So that's the thing for it, guys. Like, because we're on day 8, we want to kind of go and have these 2 songs in the bag by day 10. So I'm putting you in a situation where we're going to reiterate all of the learnings that we've had from our day 1, well, we're going to go through it as a process, but quicker, because that's what I'd like you to do when you're going to learn a brand new song for yourself. Please use all these materials, keep them with you, so that they can be used for doing a brand new song, but without me. So that's my whole intent with this, is that I've given you strategies and I've empowered you so that you'll know how to tackle a song. And doing it as best you can. You know, this might still be little bumps in along the way. You might need to ask me for help for stuff, but at least you know you've done a lot of the groundwork yourself, and you know how to manage it well. You know how to deconstruct it, to look at the difficult passages wherever they are, and know how to make it easier when you're practicing, so you build up to the bigger thing, you see. So yeah, we're looking over the melody, doing a buzzing and looking after your jaw. Then we've done that a couple of times, doing the exact same process, guys. So you'll be doing it with sing the melody again, but with the E vowel. And you know, so like the thing is with the E vowel, guys, you have to make sure you don't end up with a letterbox like E really wide, because then you'll get tense around here. Remember what I was saying about fingers at either side of your nose? I don't want you to see your mouth going any wider than what your nose goes here. So if you have to make your mouth bigger, and you probably will do when you're singing, it's not side to side like this, not horizontally. You make your mouth bigger by thinking not horizontally but vertically. So I often think to myself about a little bird's beak. So it's kind of narrow, and the front opening is narrow, but it goes up and down. You see, and that's how you should open your mouth when you sing. When you bring your cheekbones up a little bit, it looks like a little kind of happy smile, and you relax your jaw a bit more. That might make your jaw click a little bit, because it does to me sometimes. But then you're creating a much bigger opening inside your mouth. I mean, it doesn't really look that much different from the front. And I can appreciate, if you're first kind of new to this, that might feel really confusing, because I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? If you go, hey, it's pretty obviously bigger, because you can see it right in front of you. But when you go, hey, like that, it doesn't really look that much different from when you're just using your mouth to speaking. It doesn't change that dramatically, and it might not be noticeable to some extent, you see. So I totally get it. But the problem with that thing about thinking horizontally, your jaw gets tense really, really quickly. And that's one of the common problems that people experience. Charlie could probably testify to this and stuff. If you've been like singing for a long time, you can get really tense jaw if you've been singing for a few songs and stuff. And this is the thing, guys. I'm not thinking about a good performance in terms of, you want to be able to recover quickly from it. You don't want to be completely oh, I've lost all energy. And I remember a few years back, from one experience as a teacher, as one of my pupils came to me, and he was gigging quite a lot with his band, but he said, like, guaranteed every single time that he had a gig, he had to make sure that he had the next day off completely from his work, because his voice would be completely gone. And it was because when he was singing, his jaw and the kind of around his throat was getting really tight and tense, and that's why he was losing his voice. So these are little things, guys, that they might not seem like much at the time, but it's all about managing your voice well for the long term and for longevity, so that, you know, just like any other performer that goes and does concerts and stuff like that, you can do a gig for 2 and a bit hours, and you know what, your voice is absolutely fine. Your voice might be tired because you've exerted it a lot, but you're not going to lose your voice the next day. You're not going to have a sore throat. You're not going to be like, oh, I've got some problems and I can't speak. You're not going to be like, oh, everything feels really tense and I have to have lots of, like, I don't know, herbal tea, or you feel like you have to do something about it, or you feel like you have to go to the doctor and stuff. You know, you would just go home, you'll relax, you'll maybe have a water or whatever to rehydrate yourself a little bit. You might reward yourself with a wee cheeky beer, I don't know. But next day you're going to be absolutely fine. You can go to your work, you can go do your normal thing, and you don't have to worry about it, because your voice is well managed. So yeah, I went off on one a wee bit, but do you see what I mean? It might not seem like much, and it might seem like, what's the difference anyway? but actually like making sure you don't have a tension in your jaw might not seem so important when you're just doing one song, but think of the accumulative effect, guys. If you were doing a lot of songs, one set can maybe be 10, 11, 12 songs, which pretty much one straight after the other with maybe a small break, and then another 10, 11, 12 songs. That's not a lot of songs, guys, and something you need to bear in mind. It's something that I always kind of bear in mind when I'm teaching, is that people want to be here for the long haul. They want to, once they get the singing bug, most people, when they get it and feel kind of vocal confidence of any kind, they don't want to let it go, and they certainly don't want something like their throat being totally knackered to stop them because they have poor technique. You see what I mean? So yeah, E is very important. Keep it narrow, like a bird speak, up and down. E. If I was going to sing right now, it'd be I don't know, let's see. That's my E vowel here. I mean, it doesn't look like much at all, does it? It's not E, big cheesy smile or anything. So something to bear in mind. And if you're ever not sure if you've got into the right position, have a look at yourself in the mirror. Keep those fingers here if you need to, as a reminder. So that when you're singing E, if you feel like it's tempted to go wider, use your fingers as a gauge. That you can see how I go E. Oh no, that's going past my fingers. That's not good. E. May feel super weird if you're trying to get used to it for the first time, but it's really helpful. Just please persevere with it. Now, if you've done that a couple of times, sung to the E vowel with the melody, go through the song again a couple of times, but singing the vowels, that might feel a bit weird. And I was saying about it feels like it has marshmallows in your mouth or something. It can be like, let's do the chorus again, but just the vowels. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Like lots of it sounds kind of like murky or something, for want of a better description. But that's the main thread of your song right there, guys. Most of your tune is on a vowel, so please bear that in mind. So your homework for tomorrow, guys, is to go through all the material. Like I said before, think about this is kind of like covering day 1 and day 2 with a little smidge of day 3. But now we can go through it quicker. Now we know a process, we have strategies, we can go through it quicker. So try buzzing with a melody, looking after your jaw, singing with the E vowel, then singing with just the vowels of a song, using your lyric sheet to map out your breathing so that you feel more confident about where you should breathe and thinking about all that kind of thing. Remember my little bugbear about never breaking up the phrases? That so bugs me, just oh. Then you want to have a look at your lyric sheet again and thinking about just speaking the lyrics, and I was saying about trying to make it more natural to your own inclination of how you would speak things. And the way that I would do something might be quite different to how you would do it, and that's totally fine. That's you creating your own interpretation, and that's wonderful. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I'm actually feeling a wee bit tired, to be honest. But thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow, probably be kind of afternoonish kind of time, and I'll make those exercises for you. Right? Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.